Hi, guys. Welcome to the Zoom on gaslighting. How is everyone doing? I just finished my first foundation class today, which I had facilitated with my mom. it was it was beautiful. It was amazing. A lot of questions on gaslighting came up there too because it's something that's just been introduced. Thank you, Rushi. Thank you. It's something that's just been introduced in Access. So this was something that Gary and Dane were facilitating an abuse class recently, and they were going through different questions were coming up, and different awarenesses were coming up for everyone in the class. And that's where they got to it, that there's something called gaslighting that exists. And thank you, Pallavi. And I think it just blew everyone's mind because we don't even realize how much gaslighting exists in our world. So before I go on, what is gaslighting? Hi, Rupa. So I was saying, what is gaslighting? Gaslighting is slowly and gradually abusing yourself or someone else abusing you, and to an extent where you completely get dried out and finished. Now it's like a frying pan analogy. The frog on the frying pan analogy. It's like the frog is on the frying pan and he doesn't realize that he's getting cooked, and the gas keeps getting increased slowly and gradually, not so that the frog doesn't realize that he's actually getting cooked and he's going to die. So, and by the end, slowly, the heat is turned up. Slowly and gradually. Yeah.
When to take it?
Sorry, who is that? Can you tell me your name so I know who I'm talking to? Pallavi, is that you? Okay, never mind. I'm just going to put you guys on mute. And if you have a question, please feel free to stop me in between and just ask, okay? At any moment. So the frog doesn't realize that he's going to die eventually. And slowly and gradually, the heat is turned up. So it's not too hot. He doesn't ever question it. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. Eventually, he doesn't know why he's getting drained out and what is sucking him so dry of his energy. And by the end of it, the frog is dead. And that's what gaslighting is. And where this word gaslighting got invented from was the movie in 1944 that got released that was called Gaslighting. And in that, they show a relationship between a husband and a wife, in which the husband keeps slowly manipulating his wife into believing that she's going mad, she's going insane. And he starts putting this thought into her mind. That first he starts with putting this thought into her mind that she's extremely forgetful and she forgets things and she doesn't remember things. And she was so shocked and so taken aback because she was just like, no, but I do. I keep my things so safely. And then he's like, no, but you don't, honey. Oh my God, you're so forgetful, in a sweet, sarcastic, manipulative manner. So she feels like this man loves me. Why would he ever say anything to put me down? So because she feels like she cannot question him, she starts questioning her own abilities. And that was the start of gaslighting. And they show how slowly and gradually he just keeps turning the manipulation tactics up and higher and higher and higher. And by the end of the movie, he makes her believe that he's going completely insane. And in fact, to an extent where he makes her believe that her own mother was admitted in a mental asylum and was crazy. And she knew that was not true, but because she had been gaslighted so much by him, she herself had no idea what was true and what was not true. And it's a beautiful, it's an amazing movie. If you guys want to watch it, it's available on Daily Motion. It's called Gaslight. It's in 1944. It was released in 1944. Gary and Dane spoke a lot about it this time at the certified facilitators, and they really encourage everyone to watch it so you get more of an idea of what it is. And I have actually a list of, give me a moment, I'm just gonna, yeah. So there's this article called 11 Warning Signs of Gaslighting that Psychology Today took out, which was read to us in the facilitators training, which I would love to read out to you guys. So the first one, how to get to know when someone is gaslighting you, is the first one is they tell blatant lies. You know it's a lie, but they are telling this lie with a straight face. And why are they so blatant? Because they're setting up a precedent. Once they tell you a huge lie, you're not sure if anything they say is true. Keeping you unsteady and off kilter is their goal. They keep telling you, have you had moments where someone tells you something and they're completely lying, but you know they're lying, but they say it with so much of compassion also. Sometimes they might even tell you a blatant lie with so much of compassion, and it's like the truth for them, that you feel and you believe in that moment that you have no choice but to believe them, because if they're saying it with a smile, if they're saying it with a straight face, but of course they must be speaking the truth. But that's not the case. The truth is, always follow your knowing, and what's true for you is only your truth.
I don't think it's good for my blood pressure. Smoke you, Jandi.
Can you just mute everybody, please?
Yes. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, I'm muting everyone, but please know, if you have a question, if you'd like to just say anything, just unmute yourselves, okay? Okay, Kanika is saying, all because she believed him completely. Conviction. That is so true. Yes, she believed him much, much more than she even believed herself. And it's like blindfolding yourself and believing someone else completely. So I have a clearing for you over here. How much gaslighting have you endured to believing that if you have... Okay, before I do this clearing, I want to talk about this. Sometimes we land up having lots of possibilities opening up in our world. We've just done a class and there's so much space that opens up for us. And when we talk about feeding our awareness to numb it down, truth, is that a way to gaslight us and gaslight our awareness so that we don't create further possibilities?
Yes.
So how much gaslighting have you endured to believe if you have space, you will be empty, rather than the universe will create all the possibilities you require? And everything that is, can you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Talking about this clearing, others gaslight us quite a few times. it's just we have to be willing to acknowledge it. A lot of times we don't want to see it for what it is, because it could be possibly someone who's extremely close to us, someone we've decided who we love very, very much, and we just can't believe that they would do something like that to us.
Isha, can you please run the clearing again, if you don't mind?
Sure, of course. How much gaslighting have you endured to believe if you have space, you will be empty, rather than the universe will create all the possibilities? And everything that is, can you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, online shorts, boys and beyonds.
Thank you.
So, my pleasure. So before I go on to talking about how we gaslight ourselves, I would love to carry on reading the article out for you. The second one is that they deny they ever said something, even though you have proof. You'll have all the proof in the world that they said it. But I told you, honey, I was going out. What happened? And they turn around and they're just like, no, but you never told me, and that's not true. And you're just like taken aback for a second, but I told you. No, honey, you didn't tell me, sweetheart. You're so forgetful. And they say it with a smile, and they say it with sarcasm, and they laugh it off. So you think, I probably have forgotten. Well, my friends, that is gaslighting. So everything that is, can you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, online shots, boys and beyonds. The third is, they use what is near and dear to you as ammunition. Okay, so then use what's near and dear to you as ammunition. A lot of times, have you heard people turning around and just being like, you don't spend enough of time with your daughter or with your son, which is why he's turning out like this. I love you so much. I know who you are as a person. You're just so beautiful. You're such a beautiful person. But you're not being able to, focus on your children, and you're not being able to focus on their upbringing. Only if you spend a little bit more time with them, focus less on the other stuff, focus less on going out too much, focus on your kids a little more so they can come up and be brought up better. They did something wrong today, and I think it's because you don't spend enough time with them. And because your kids are so near and dear to you, you go into complete wrongness of yourself, and you're just like, oh my God, I did something wrong. No. No, that's gaslighting. So everywhere you believe that it was your fault for everything that happened to your near and dear ones. Can you please destroy and uncreate that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, online shots, boys and beyonds. Okay. And the next one, I'm going to send you guys a link, okay? So you can feel free to read this article at home too. So the fourth one is, they wear you down over time. This one is one of the insidious things about gaslighting. It is done gradually over time. A lie here, a lie there, a snide comment every so often. And then it starts ramping up. Even the brightest, most self-aware people can be sucked into gaslighting. It is that effective. It's the frog in the frying pan analogy. The heat is turned up slowly, so the frog never realizes what is happening to it. Exactly what we started with. Little things that you think it's a little thing to overlook. I can overlook it. It's okay. Which clearing would you like me to repeat, Avneet? Was it this one? How much gaslighting have you endured to believe if you have space, you will be empty rather than the universe will create possibilities for you? And everything that is, time the Godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, online shots, boys and girls. Rabbi, I will definitely send it. For sure. Rushi, and we are encouraged to ignore such little and small things as they are so small. That is so true. We're encouraged small, itni si baat to hai, you can overlook it, be a bigger person. Now, having said that, thank you for bringing this up, Rushi, because you want to notice the gaslighter for who they are. And, that's why when we talk about trust, that's where trust comes in. You want to notice the gaslighter for who they are and what they are. And you don't want to try to change them. First of all, because especially if there's someone close to you, you don't want to try to change them. You want to see things for as they are and what they are doing. And it's not about bringing up a war. It's not about turning it into a fight. It's not about a fight, and it's not about defense. It's more about you acknowledging for yourself. It's like the vulnerability aspect, right? Do you guys all know about vulnerability?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. So when you have a wound, it's the same thing, right? If you don't have a bandage on your wound and the wound is open, you're not going to let anyone come and touch that wound. it's, according to me, it's something similar. When you're aware, when you know, and when you're seeing the person for who they are, and when they are trying to gaslight you, they will not be successful. Because gaslighting can only be successful if we let it. Which brings me to one more thing, that if and when any of us have ever been gaslighted, it's not because we are less than anyone. It's not because we are small. It's not because we are weak or frail or pathetic. Okay, so everywhere you guys misidentified and misapplied being gaslighted for being weak, frail, pathetic, you need to try and uncreate that.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, online shorts, boys and bayons. You know, intelligent, the more intelligent you are, which you all are, even though you don't want to believe it, okay? But the more intelligent, the more intelligent person you are, the more susceptible you are to gaslighting. Because you start using your mind against you instead of for you. When you are so intelligent as a person, you are used. Hi, Shweta. So when you are used to using your mind, which, by the way, in Access we have to get rid of, okay? When the mind is out of the way, you, the being, are free to play. But when you are used to using your mind for you, the gaslighter starts making you use your mind against you. Because little things that we are told to be a big person for, be the bigger person, let it go. You let it go, but inside you are always gaslighting yourself after that. Because if you're not in allowance of that, you are gaslighting yourself and you're continuously eating yourself up from within. Why did the person do this to me? How did I allow this to happen? But am I wrong? Should I have done something different? Why didn't I do something different? Oh my God. And if it happens again, then you go back to thinking, I should have just said something. Only if I stood up for myself, I could have changed the situation. So my friends, everywhere you've made yourself wrong, can you please destroy and uncreate that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, online thoughts, boys and beyonds.
Can you hear me, guys? Isha,
Yes,
you hear me?
we can, Shweta.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. This is so awesome. And it's such a new topic. I'm so grateful that you're doing this.
Thank you for being here. And oh, by the way, Shweta is doing a gaslighting. I know that. Can you guys hear me? Guys, can you hear me?
Thing you tell me today in my class tomorrow.
What?
How did I get so lucky? Yeah, you're totally not listening to what I'm saying. Everybody else.
My Bluetooth earplug got disconnected. Tell me again.
I said I'm going to be using all the information that you're going to give me today in my class tomorrow. So I'm learning today. So I have so many questions for you.
Shweta.
Actually, what do you mean I'm not kidding you?
Feel free. But I know you're doing the movie tomorrow. So like, if you guys have not watched the movie, or if you have watched the movie, please go and watch it. It's going to be awesome with so many energies together. It'll be more fun than watching it alone in your bed. That's all I know.
Why don't you guys do a movie screening in Delhi?
We will do that.
I think it's such an amazing thing to do, because initially when I started watching, I'm like just a little away from the end of the movie. I was watching it today. And interestingly, I remember Anne Maxwell was talking about in the foundation, Global Foundation, she saw it then,
Yeah.
And she was talking about how resistant she was to watching it. She said, I thought I didn't need it
Yeah.
because I've been doing all of this. And there was so much, and I mean, it wasn't like cognitive resistance at my end on watching the movie, just that I
Yeah.
wasn't finding the time and space to do it. And
Yeah.
believe it or not, all my technology is conking off. And that's why I said I'm going to test my new headphones today because I don't have a mic. I'm using an old computer.
Yes.
My Apple laptop is conked off brilliantly well, and I'm like, wow, okay, what else is possible? And I haven't been able to see the movie, so I was like, okay, what's right
Shweta,
about
that's
this?
not you creating it, is it? That's not
I
you
don't know,
creating it.
really.
You're
I'm
not
like, wow,
gaslighting your own future and your own
absolutely
possibilities here.
not. I'm so not. I'm like, I'll receive money for this too. I wonder what else is possible. But when, like, just to confirm what you were saying, and obviously, if Gary and Dane have been recommending the movie, just the fact that, I mean, when I got to watching it today, I just couldn't get off it. It
Yeah.
is such an amazing movie, and I'm going to talk more about it tomorrow when I finish watching it. But today, I
Yeah.
want to hear you talk about gaslighting, Isha. So just please elaborate a little more on how you can avoid being gaslighted.
You know, gaslighting has, you can never avoid being according to me, I don't think you can avoid being gaslighted. I think what you can do is be an allowance of people gaslighting, trying to gaslight you, because it will affect you if you resist to it, if you react to it, and if you align and agree with it. I'm just going to put everyone on mute. Just 1 second. Okay. If you align and agree, and if you resist and you react to people trying to gaslight you, it's definitely going to get you in this whole turbulence and whole scene of but how, what, when, but I didn't say this, but how did this happen, but how did that happen, only if I should have done something different, how is this possible? But if you see the person for who they are and what they are doing, and that goes even for us ourselves, so many times we don't want to see where we ourselves are gaslighting ourselves. And because let's be honest, how many of us were told we are the best critics? You yourself are your best critic. And you and judge yourself. Don't look at others, look at yourself and judge yourself. You are your biggest competition. You know, and
Yes,
and
many a times.
yeah, and down the line, down the road, you just, it's a slow process of judging yourself. You start, you're born, you're vulnerable, you're beautiful, you're beautiful today too, okay? You just have to acknowledge it even more probably. And you're born, and in that space of complete allowance of everything, and your eyes are open, wide open, you want to see what the world is like, what is out there. And then you grow up a little more, and then first of all, as a child, there are all these energies that are thrown at you. Oh my god, look at those eyes, those eyes are like me. No, those eyes are like me. The nose is on the father. This one is gonna, oh look, he's kicking, he's gonna be a football player just like his uncle. And then there's so many projections, judgments, separations, rejections that are put on us. And then when we grow up and when we start thinking about who we want to be, what we want to do, there are all these projection judgments that play up in the mind, which is also why we stop ourselves from knowing what we truly want to do. So, Mafi and then and then you question, and then you go into how many doctors today, how many engineers, how many fashion designers, how many different people from around different fields come around saying, but I never wanted to do this, I just never wanted to do this. How many people in so many professions today are just carrying on with their professions just because they know if they leave their profession, they don't know where they'll get money from, they don't know where they earn money from, they let their parents down because their parents have invested so much, according to them, in them. that they start gaslighting themselves every day, going to work, coming back not happy, going the next morning, dragging themselves out of their bed, abusing themselves probably at work, coming back so dissatisfied with themselves, their job, no smile on their face, but they're just carrying on with that life because of some expectation, some projection, some judgment that they have. So everywhere we have gaslighted ourselves based on all the projections, judgments, separations, rejections that we have out of ourselves and that we are trying to live up to. Can you destroy and uncreate that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, online shorts, boys and beyond. It's funny, in today's foundation, we were talking about how a lot of doctors gaslight us. How this field of doctors has become more of a business than actually a practice to help you heal, help you feel better. It's like I remember my sister, she had a fever. We took her to the doctor, and the doctor said, we said she can't stand what's going on. She has fever, and let's just get a general checkup done. Let's show her to the doctor. And the doc said that get the MRI done, get this done, get this blood test. She needs an MRI. And we were like, 1 second, she was just 13 back then. She's just 13 years old. No, you have to admit her. And this all has to be done. And in that moment, the parents are living, I don't know how many judgments of if they had done something different. If मैंने कल रात को ठंडी पट्टी लगा देती तो इतना बुरा नहीं हुआ होता. In that moment, you are gaslighting yourself over and over and over again, instead of just seeing things as they are, looking at the doctors and just asking yourself a question: truth, does my daughter actually require this? Does her body actually require this? Or are they just doing this because the doctors get a cut, right? When you go to hospital, they get a cut of how many patients get what done, how many patients get admitted, and all of that. Just ask a question. Yeah, Rabia.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Very good. Congratulations for your first foundation.
Thank you.
So here's my question. So I'm wondering, what is the difference between, and also how to identify? So with the people that you're, in quote unquote relationship with, your parents, your friends, your colleagues, whatever, right? All of these people that you interact with every day, or on a longer time. And so if somebody is choosing to do something over and over again that makes you feel bad, wrong, small, and they are aware of it, you've communicated it, they still continue to do it, is that gaslighting? Or is that just something else?
Are you trying to convince yourself that it's just something else?
This is so funny. I watched this movie day before yesterday.
Yeah.
Since then I've been thinking, I don't think this is just judgment. This is a little bit more, because earlier I was thinking that, people judge you to control you. And I was like, this person is just doing this to control me. But, nobody can really control us. The effect that it had on me was I was feeling small, weak, pathetic, pale, blah, blah, blah. And the person is totally aware of it. I've communicated it. I've tried to, resolve it, blah, blah, blah. And they choose to do it over and over and over and over again. So day before yesterday, when I saw this movie, I had such barriers, I can't tell you. मतलब मुझे इतना effort लगा उस movie को देखने के लिए.
Yeah.
And since then I'm thinking that if somebody's doing that, is that gaslighting? What is your awareness?
Well, my awareness is, because you're talking about a certain situation, you have to ask yourself that truth, is this person trying to gaslight me here? If it's something that invalidates your being, if it's something that invalidates your reality, it is gaslighting.
My reality completely. Ye to ho hi nahi sakta, you can't do this is not possible, you are, blah, 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 whatever. So this is like total, because the energy was not so much just judgment, it was also invalidation and making me small and wrong and over and over and over and over. So Yeah.
Yeah. So everything that you've done to justify that gaslighting, can you destroy and uncreate that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, online shots, boys and beyond. Yeah. And it's not about standing up and fighting and excluding the person from your life. It's not that, right? The 10 commandments of access is no exclusion. Consciousness includes even unconsciousness and anti-consciousness. It's
But
not
this is
about
so funny, Isha, because how do you include such people in your life? What
right.
do you mean by inclusion here?
Right. Dane gave a very beautiful example of himself when someone wants to meet him very often, or someone's trying to get in touch with him, and he prefers not to. He will not exclude the person of his life, but instead he's just going to text the person and just be like, "Hey, I have so many back-to-back sessions. I have so many back-to-back classes. Let's plan it another time." And then he's gone for the next 3 or 4 months.
Right.
There's no exclusion. You're not rejecting the next person of their being, of their reality. You're not rejecting them, making them less, making them feel small.
But obviously
Right?
it's not me who's doing that in this situation, right? It's because when somebody is gaslighting you and invalidating your reality, it's
Yeah.
like they are trying to exclude you and they are trying to reject you and judge you and all of those energies as well. Even in the movie, if you see, this guy was like trying to exclude this girl from everything that was going on actually over there in the house, right? So he was
He
trying
is
to
not
keep her
trying to
awareness
exclude.
off.
Right. Coming to your first question, he's not trying to exclude you as not you as you, but just as another person. What he's trying to do is he's trying to get exclusion in your world. He wants you in totality. He wants control of you, but he wants
Right.
you to be excluded out of everyone else's worlds. He wants you in
Right.
his, and he wants you to only have him and nobody else. He wants you to do the exclusion. He will manipulate people against you. So even if you want to go out there and say, even if you have a little bit of an inkling, let me go talk to people. Let me see who can help me out over here. He would have manipulated, he or she, can be anything, would have manipulated the person to such an extent that the person themselves will not believe you. But having said that again,
Right.
it is only because you are more powerful than the gaslighter.
Yeah, that I totally got. That one was very clear to me.
Because the gaslighter will not try to gaslight you and control you if they know. I mean, they know the fact that you're more powerful and you are potent to like gaslight them. So they try
Right.
to not gaslight you. They try to gaslight you and abuse you thoroughly to gain control and completely
Before.
you lose your potency and lose your control over everything. But here's what I have to say, guys. You know who the most dominant entity is of your life? You. You know
Right.
who the most dominant person is? You. So at like any time, just be like, I'm not choosing this. Thank you. I do not doubt your awareness, okay? As much as someone else or you yourself may tell yourself. Don't buy your own act, okay? So many times we will okay, so we're running out of time. But so many times we will tell ourselves like, no, but this is not true. How can I be right? That person's awareness is greater than mine. This person has more experience than me. No. So everything you guys have done to gaslight your own reality and your world, can you destroy and uncreate that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, online shots, boys and beyonds. Yeah, the movie is Gaslighter in 1944, the one with Ingrid Bergman. There are a few more, but this is the one Gary suggests we watch because there's another one in which you go, oh my God, you poor thing, but you cannot deserve it because you're being the victim and you're being pathetic. You're so pathetic. But in this one, you actually see the entire gaslighting scene as is. And I'm going to quickly put the link to the article in here too, so you guys can read it.
Wow,
And
Visha, it was so good. Thank you for explaining that, and that was fabulous. So, tell
thank
us
you.
more about your class, please.
Yes, my class starts on the 15th. It's a 3-part Zoom call, which is going to be an hour each, which is going to be a lot more clearings, a lot of more talking, a lot of more personalized interaction. And we are going to do a lot of activities, go through, see our lives as they are and see ourselves as